will make it in the 21st century are those that are sustainable. We see what's happening in China, we see what's happening in Russia, even in the western part of the United States, with the drawdown of resources, certainly water and fresh air. And we happen to live in a very abundant part of the world. It's quite precious and rare. We actually here in northern Ohio live on lake beds, certainly in the western part of Ohio, which is the largest share of the district that I represent. And Lake Erie is the most abundant of all of the Great Lakes. You can put all of the fish and birds and boaters and swimmers from all the other lakes together, and it doesn't total what Lake Erie represents, and it is the most drawn upon of all the lakes in terms of the water resource. So it's very, very precious and very fragile. It's the shallowest of the lakes as well. So Maumee River is the largest tributary that flows into the Great Lakes, and it's important to understand our ecosystem legacy because you have to build off of that into the future. So first, I think we have to be authentic. We have to understand who we are. And I think a lot of people forgot. I'm constantly having to remind people agriculture and economic development from agriculture is a home run. People forgot it. They think someone else does that. And of course this region has dairies and we have food processing and so forth. We raise and mill more red wheat in Ohio, soft red wheat, to make pastries than any other region. I represent the largest flour mill for the milling of soft red wheat.
Where's
Kraft,
that?
Nabisco, right at the headwaters of the Maumee River.
Oh, okay.
People don't even see that. It's here. Why is it here? Because Nabisco Kraft uses our product from Ohio, from this region. So the question is, can we make other products, other crackers, other cookies? So for me, it's getting people to think about high-tech agriculture and high-value foods and food processing as a major part of our future, because most people have forgotten it even exists. If we look at the industrial sector that is non-agricultural, and we look at our automotive and machining endowments here, I represent the very best plants in the world. GM Hydromatic, now called the Toledo Transmission Plant, has the new 6-speed transmission. They are the best facility in GM's remaining hierarchy in the whole world, and they're here. So they're making the transmission that'll go into the new Cruze and many of the new vehicles that GM will be manufacturing. The company's invested almost over $1 billion in new equipment in that plant. Chrysler Jeep, the largest facility on the continent. I think that the fact that UT's engineering school is now one of the top 20 graduate engineering schools in the country is a real important advance for our region. So I think the whole automotive industrial sector is one that America cannot cede. Our defense base requires it, and frankly, no economy in the world that's strong does not have a healthy automotive and transportation sector. You know, bottom line, really identifying those sectors where we have a natural advantage, a very robust heritage, and then building those forward. I think what makes progress here so difficult in our region is the fact that we have no cushions. When the economy hits a wall, we are free market. We are not a capital city insulated by hundreds of government jobs, thousands of government jobs, as is Columbus or Washington, D.C. And we do not have major government installations like defense bases, which comprise major segments of our economy. That's a good thing, but it's also a very slippery slope when the economy hits a wall. So we have to work hard to be diversified and not be so dependent on any one industry. For our era, every family and every community has to think about how to reinstill the values of independence on which the Republic was founded. And so many of the institutions that are legacies of the 20th century have made us actually less independent and less secure. So for example, if you have a power system that is providing energy to your community from a far away place, and then they have a brownout, and you are harmed by that, you can't run your company, there's not enough power. You have to ask yourself the question, well, if you were to reinvent the delivery system, what would it look like so that you would actually have more independence as a community? One of the most important accomplishments I think we've had is being able to work through the Department of Energy now with our local Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority to create a municipal aggregation system where if a neighborhood or a set of homeowners wants to create power production in their own area, or the university, they can borrow funds through the Port Authority now and then pay those back not over 7 years but over 25. And so you begin to recapture your own independence in power. In food production, a real challenge for us is how do we become more secure, food secure as a region in our food shed? Rather than saying, no, China will give us our fish, how do we have aquaculture here in our region, in the most abundant place on earth, freshwater heaven, right? How do we do this? In every sector, clothing, where we give away trillions of dollars in a decade to get someplace else to make our clothing, how do we find a way to allow producers to bring that to market, to local market, so that we enliven local companies and empower local people with shelter, which is another basic need that everyone has. How do we create communities that are more sustainable, the homes themselves better insulated? Owens Corning is such a leader on that. And live in an era where even solar is put on every roof, even in regions like this, to help augment the power supply and make that family, that neighborhood more self-sufficient.